This is Friedrich Nietzsche. He was a 19th century German philosopher who revolutionized this branch of study. His ideas have influenced modern intellectual thought in many ways. But during his lifetime, he wasn't very well liked, even garnering countless enemies due to his controversial opinions on religion and morality. In this video, we'll dive deep into Nietzsche's philosophy and discuss 5 concepts from his teachings and how you can apply them in your own life. Let's begin. Number 1. The truth about a person's perspective. Friedrich Nietzsche was an extremely inquisitive person. He learned to question everything around him. During his time period, the 1800s, religion was at an arguably all-time high. Nietzsche's observation of the nature of religious beliefs led him to question why humans feel the need to discover a truth in life. He began his critique of the quote-unquote truth by emphasizing that all life is perspective. Because everyone's life is different, it makes sense for their beliefs, judgments, and actions to also be different. So naturally, as our knowledge and judgment expand and change throughout our life, our perspective will shift as well, leading us to have different perceptions of morality. This realization led Nietzsche to question why people feel the need to let permanent laws govern their morality and lives. After pondering on a series of related questions to truth, religion, and morality, Nietzsche came to the conclusion that our will to find the truth in life was not a natural desire. Instead, he believed that the human demand for a strict moral code was a choice that we made out of fear, in order to convince ourselves that there's order in the universe. As America becomes increasingly polarized over medicine, legislation, and leadership, politics refuses to shift its system. The same political system that governed citizens in the 1800s continues to govern us today. We're still led by leaders in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who have no real conception about how the world works today and how fast it's constantly changing. In the age of the internet, we tend to interpret new evidence as confirmation of our current beliefs. This outdated way of thinking is perpetuated by one-sided news sources that bend the truth to attract people that think like them and repel people who don't, spinning the hamster wheel of division. In these times, we could all benefit from Friedrich Nietzsche's insight. Instead of engaging in confirmation bias and believing only the facts that fit our narrative, try to gather facts from different perspectives. It's important to recognize that your will to truth is not a natural desire, but a conditioned trap to keep us divided and ignorant. So, next time you think your beliefs are right and someone else's are wrong, remember that your values may be different from theirs, but that doesn't mean you can't understand their perspective. Instead of judging their beliefs, try and understand them and figure out what led them to that way of thinking. Silencing others' alternative perspectives will only push people further away and deepen the divide in our world. The only way for us to come to a mutual understanding is by creating a more open, respectful discussion filled with various perspectives. Number 2. The danger of the herd mentality. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that a strict religious belief system creates what he called the herd mentality. Like a herd of animals, a herd mentality aims towards the sameness, comfort, and preservation of the population. This type of mindset puts the community over the individual and limits creativity and independence. After denouncing religion, Nietzsche came to the conclusion that his previous way of life was nothing more than a tool for control, used by the majority to limit free choices and individuality. This is because group thinking, particularly in organized religion, forces everyone to either believe the same thing as everyone else or be banished from the group. In each organized religion, you have to see God the exact same way as everyone else in the group. You have to refrain from seeing God in a different way, thus restricting God's influence on your own unique life, because you're forced into this constricted generic figure in your head. Similarly, Nietzsche believed that spiritual enlightenment could never be synonymous with conformity, because enlightenment comes from the unknown, something you can sense but not conform to. Instead of keeping your spiritual beliefs stagnant, try to evolve your spirituality and change it for the better when an opportunity presents itself. It's tough not to get caught up in the herd mentality when you just want to fit in with your environment. But just like how we change our bodies, clothes, and location for the better, why can't we change our beliefs for the better too? Number 3. Friedrich Nietzsche's notorious will to power. Friedrich Nietzsche suggested that we can free ourselves from the deceptive nature of the herd mentality by becoming beyond good and evil. In other words, instead of falling victim to our inclination of being influenced by others, we should awaken our quote-unquote will to power, which is our passion and drive to create our life in the image of what we value. Nietzsche's philosophy recommends that we say yes to whatever gives us meaning in our own lives, which will truly lead us down the path to happiness and self-fulfillment. Critics believe Nietzsche was promoting anarchy because of his hatred of government and religion, but he denied these claims. Friedrich Nietzsche was simply pointing out the problems of government and religion. He didn't condemn specific values, but just criticized values that are pushed on us from others. His infamous "God is dead" statement was a renouncement of his personal faith in religion, not an attack on the faith of others. Nietzsche preached individual freedom of belief, whatever that belief may be. Number 4. The importance of finding your true values. Nietzsche's philosophy warns us that sometimes eliminating our sources of truth in the world can lead to nihilism, or the belief that nothing has value or meaning. Many perceive nihilism as a negative or destructive perspective, but Nietzsche believed that it could be used as an opportunity to reevaluate what gives value to our lives. By destroying our previous set of beliefs, we could suffer the initial feelings of nihilism, but come out the other end having discovered where our true values are. This philosophy doesn't promote pessimism, but more so forces us to experience the full depth of our character and intentions. So, next time you experience nihilistic anxiety and struggle with finding meaning in your life, interpret that depressed state as an opportunity for change. Instead of sulking in your anxiety, realize that you feel that way because you avoided exploring your true values, what you really wanted from life. Look at it as an opportunity to explore more and meditate on what's missing right now and where you want to be in the future. If you had no limitations in your life, money, relationships, environment, what would you do with your life? Take some time to think about this and write down your ideal life, filled with what's truly important to you. Number 5, the crisis of comfort. Ultimately, Friedrich Nietzsche's goal was to make us take a step back and really think about what gives value to our lives. He proposed the question that if you had to live this exact same life 10 times over and over, what would you regret not doing? Imagine that there was a film camera on your life, watching you throughout the day. Would the viewers be excited about watching you scroll through social media for hours and hours per day? Or would it be more entertaining if you were constantly challenging yourself to get better and better at something, and like a superhero, overcome your fears and accomplish your crazy goals by the end of the movie? Thinking about this probably puts an immense amount of weight on your shoulders to always be performing. But if you change yourself and reevaluate your life values, the weight can be lifted. Nietzsche emphasizes that we have to overcome the brainwashing and guilt that society places on us in the form of social and religious constructs. These constructs are placed on the majority of people in our world, forcing us to conform to groupthink and expel the people who question or behave differently. The social norms and beliefs of society put us in a mental prison, restricting the ability of freedom of original self-expression. When you feel overwhelmed by societal pressure, don't hide your quote-unquote crazy dreams and ideas in fear. It's really all in our own heads whether we let the negative opinions get in the way of us reaching our true potential. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy encourages us to escape out of our self-made prisons. In this one life we all have, we have to do everything we can to persevere and break past external and internal limitations and chase after the dreams that give our life true meaning. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.